what should we do in this current circumstances? A lot of stress, a lot of worries. I want to give you at least one tool. I'm going to start off with the first tool. I want you, and I want to challenge you. I know it's not easy, but I want to be able to challenge you to focus on what's in your control versus what's outside of your control. Things that we fear and that we worry about are things completely outside of our control. I'll give you one example. The weather. Sometimes the weather is a rainy day. You didn't ask for it to be a rainy day. You didn't ask for it to be a rainy day when you wanted to go to the beach, but it is still raining. But what happens though, we make ourselves suffer when we complain, oh, it is raining today and it's ruining all my plans. I wanted to do something today. But again, you have no control over the weather. That's not within our control. So when I say focus on what's in your control versus what's out of your control, I want to make sure that I spare you the additional suffering of worry and anxiety. For example, let's give another example. Watching the news. There's a lot of stories, a lot of sensationalized articles. There are things that are keeping track of the numbers of the coronavirus cases and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being educated and being up to date on the current news. But the problem, though, that I see so often is that it's a lot of things that are outside of our control. You may see some rhetoric from a politician and then get real angry and it ruins the rest of your day. I can't believe that politician said that. And then literally your whole life is dictated by something that you had no control over. So when I say focus on what's in your control versus what's out of your control, is to say focus on what you are able to do right now in the present moment, what you are able to do as a person, what you can influence in your environment versus what's out of your control. There's so many things outside of our control right now, but we're going to cause ourselves needless worry and stress when we continue to do that. So that being said, I want to give you another example. Think of our lives as like a deck of cards. We've all been given a set of cards that we've been dealt, and with social distancing and the implementation going on right now, a lot of the cards we used to have been taken away. They've been stripped down to like the bare bones. You know, staying at home and social distancing, it's not comfortable because we're creatures of habits. And for those who are quite extroverted, it's even harder for them to be able to adjust. So think of it like this then. What do you do then with that? What was out of your control were the cards that were taken away. What's in your control is working with the cards you've been dealt. And that's not even just for this situation. It's within life as well too. We all have a set of cards. Some people have better cards. Some people have worse cards. Some people have very few cards. Some have a great amount of cards. But it's not about what others have. It's about focusing on what's in your control, which is the cards you have, and working with what they are. For example, I was diagnosed with autism, depression, and anxiety, and some would say that that's not necessarily always a great set of cards to have, right? But I can't change that. What I can change, though, is how I respond to the cards that I have and to use the cards that I have to my advantage. So again, to summarize again, focus on what's in your control versus what's out of your control. To work with the cards that you've been given instead of focusing on the cards that were taken away. Another tool I want to give you is the power of acceptance. So I'm actually a daily meditator, and if there's one thing that I've learned through meditation is that, once again, a lot of our suffering, a lot of our worries, a lot of our anxieties come from not accepting the current situation. You know, like when I'm meditating and I'm focused on my breath, I'll have like a crap ton of thoughts come through my head that I didn't ask to happen. Like, it's what the Buddhists call the monkey mind. And of course, I can be very critical of those thoughts, being like, why are they there? I don't want them there. But funny enough, what you resist persists. And the more I try to get rid of those thoughts, the more I try to get rid of those emotions that arise, the longer they stay. If I told you to think of a pink elephant, and then I told you to stop thinking about a pink elephant, what is still in your mind right now? Stop thinking of a pink elephant. No, seriously, stop thinking about a pink elephant. Okay, I guess you can think about a pink elephant. I want you to be okay and accept that you're thinking right now about a pink elephant. Why? Because that's when the thoughts are more easily able to be let go and to continue on. So think of your thoughts as a flow of, you could say, flow of consciousness. Think of it like an ongoing stream. The problem, though, is that sometimes we get so attached to a thought that we think that we're not able to let go of it. But instead, I want you to accept that thought and let it go on forward. But I'm going a little bit off topic there. But applying it to our own situation, it's about acceptance. A lot of times we, again, will suffer because we're like, we shouldn't be social distancing, or there's a desire in our mind of, I really would love to go out to a restaurant right now and eat out with friends of mine. I would really love to hug my loved ones once again. I get it's not easy. And I get that we're going to have those thoughts because, again, we're creatures of habit. It's going to be very tempting. And our mind's going to continue to like make us suffer because we're thinking about those things. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I want you to accept whatever thoughts you have. I want you to accept whatever feelings that you're feeling in the present moment. I'm not saying that so that you will dwell on those emotions. I'm not saying you're going to dwell on those thoughts. I'm saying that the only way that we can continue to have those emotions or those thoughts pass on by is we got to first accept that they're even there. And it's the same thing with emotions. It's the reason why I say it's okay to not be okay. I'm not here to say if you're depressed or something like that, I would say it's okay to not be okay, not because I'm here to reinforce your feelings of sadness. I'm looking to neutralize the negative connotation that you have attached to your emotions. Does that make sense? And if it doesn't, feel free to comment on that because it's something that is a little bit abstract and hard to explain on this live stream, but it's a whole different other story. So focus on what's in your control versus what's out of your control. Work with the cards that you have been given in the present moment. I'm not saying that they're great cards, but to work with what you have. To accept the situation as it is instead of how you feel it should be. The difference is that you're going to let go of the shoulds of how the situation should be and say, what are the facts? What is the situation around here? No judgments to it. And then you can move forward. Lastly, live your daily life. I want you to live your daily life going forward for the time being that we're all in the situation. Live your daily life as if this situation was permanent. And that's not to say that the situation is going to be permanent, but I want you to live as if it is because I want to help you focus on the present moment. Because a lot of our thoughts are going to wander to the future of when it's going to end. When can I start making plans again to visit my friends? When can I start making bookings for traveling again? But if we instead decided to live our daily lives as if this was a permanent situation, we would start finding a way to adapt to our current situation. But some of us are not even able to focus on the present moment right now and adapt to our situation because they're so busy focused on the when, is it ending, is it ending? And you're living in the future rather than living right now. So act as if the situation is permanent, not because it will be, but to act as if so that you will condition yourself to focus on the present moment rather than focusing on the future. Does that make sense? Okay. So to summarize, I'm going to keep it very short there. And wow, I've talked for 10 minutes. So I'm glad it wasn't too long. So focus on what's in your control versus what's out of your control. What is in your control what's out of your control is bad weather. But what's in your control is the internal weather you carry with you despite the external weather. What's in your control is to call your loved ones right now or to speak with someone and let them know like that you miss them or video chat with them. Or what's in your control is to be able to, like put on some music and dance. I like to dance. What's out of your control is the situation that we're in right now. Again, government regulations right now are telling us to keep us social distancing. We can't control that. So let's focus on what we can and make the best of the cards that we've been dealt. Again, accept the situation as it is. And lastly, live your daily life for the time being. Live as if this was a permanent situation so that you can more easily adapt and continue to focus your mind at the present moment instead of in the future. All right? Does that all make sense? I hope it does. And if not, just comment in the comments below. Again, if this was helpful and you think other people will find it helpful, please feel free to share it. I would love to get this to more people. This is not just me trying to preach to you all or act like I'm some just, inspirational speaker or whatnot. Like these are tools that have actually really helped me. And these are tools that I'm still using. And sometimes you need to remind yourself. It doesn't mean you won't fall into some darker states of mind in the next couple weeks. I may myself. These are actually reminders that I have to continue to remind myself on. It's not done overnight. It's things that require practice. It's a new habit that you're developing. Just like with how it's easy for us to focus on what's wrong in situations, it's our job to start focusing on what's right and to make the dedication to continue to focus on what's right. Because it goes against our habitual survival brain negativity bias. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a journey that's worth it. And you will feel much more positive emotions on a daily basis. And the best part of it is, you don't not only just help yourself, but it's going to ripple out to the people you're able to help as well. All right.